Spring football games in different conferences and separate parts of the country are being canceled, and Michigan, Wisconsin, Indiana, Iowa State, Tennessee Tech and others followed the lead of West Virginia. "I don't think I started something by canceling the spring game," Mountaineers athletic director Shane Lyons said, "but it does look like that." Schools are citing weather forecasts, which is a legitimate concern, especially in the early and middle parts of April in those locations, but that explanation provides cloud cover for another reality: a lot of college coaches would rather not deal with a spring game. It's become a dulled-down scrimmage that follows 14 otherwise productive practices, and while the Mountaineers are to be commended for following through on their contributions to charitable events last Saturday, they were also not upset that they arrived at the finish line early. Coaches could do without an exhibition that exists for fans and features an extremely edited playbook on offense and defense. They'd rather not provide footage on television or the internet that gives opponents an idea about plays, players, packages and whatever else catches the eye. They'd rather not subject players to injuries and stunted momentum for a couple of thrills that will be forgotten long before preseason camp starts months later. And guess what? A few coaches got their wish, and you can be sure a few more are jealous. So, what do we make of the future of spring games? In what form do they exist? Do they exist? Don't answer that. We don't know. We do know these are the questions floating around football offices. I think you've got to take a look at it and say, okay, is it time to tweak the model and still take advantage of the number of opportunities we have to get the whole team together and be productive on the football side but also engage our external constituency, said Matt Wells, WVU's Senior Associate Athletic Director for External Affairs, a job that includes marketing. Let's establish a set of facts before we proceed. First, the Mountaineers have not abandoned the spring game. They haven't even had discussions about this outside of some lunchtime spitballing that gets started when someone brings up another school nixing its spring game. And second, there's no use hiding from the obvious, which is why this conversation will occur at WVU and assuredly many other athletic departments across the country. The Mountaineers will discuss and probably even debate the best way to have a full 15-practice spring, entertain fans and raise money for WVU's Children's Hospital. I would say sometime coming up here once we get into probably May or the early parts of the summer and we have a bit more time. Overall, we'll start to figure out what we want to do. Well said. To review, the spring game still exists. It might look different in a year or in a few years. It might not, but WVU will consider the possibilities. Let's not forget that, in the 2017 spring game, the event evolved, or is it evolved? To a point where Geno Smith threw a touchdown pass to Shelton Gibson. And this year, a 5K, a walk around town with Coach Dana Holgorsen and a quick run on the field for kids was convincingly popular and spirited on a cold and snowy morning. So, the Mountaineers understand the spring game on a few different levels. They're open to ideas that combine football, fans, fun and philanthropy. They understand some years need 15 practices and others do not. And they understand what a team accomplishes between practice no's 10 and 15 is way different than what can be achieved between no's 14 and 15. The 15th day is so vital that WVU actually counted players walking with Holgorsen as the 15th and final workout allowed by the NCAA. There is a way to change the model while optimizing the purpose and presence of spring football. For WVU, its fans and the Children's Hospital. Does it turn into a fan fest with bands and food trucks, plus the 5K, the Holgorsen walk and the run with kids? A pep rally where the coaches address the crowd? Something like that, but something that also has a spot for some football. But what does the football look like? How do fans get their fix for the off-season? Is it a flag football game, a skills competition? Punt, pass and kick, and then, when is it? Does it have to be at the end? Can it be at the beginning? The middle? You could be onto something, Lyons said. A lot of coaches don't want to show what they haven't be out there calling plays, but they do want to include the participation of the fans and give them an opportunity to be excited about the football season. We've seen here we haven't drawn 50,000, 60,000 people. That's some draw at other places. But can you do something where fans are going to show up and everyone gets what they want out of it? These are the questions the Mountaineers will ask, the conversations they will entertain between now and when they make a call about their next spring game, and they know taking action, even if it's in the consensus best interest of the team, fans and charity, will elicit reactions. But at the same time, you can't let the idea that somebody is not going to like because it's a change stop you from being proactive and forward-thinking. If you want to do that, and say, hey, what should we be doing? What's the right thing to do for the sake of all of our constituents internally and externally? How will this impact the program? How will this impact recruiting? How will this impact the coach and the team and the players? How will it impact the fans? How will it impact the children's hospital? How will it impact potential TV exposure and radio coverage? There are so many constituencies involved that you have to step back, take a look at it and say that if we do this, what's the impact?